Hello violinists! One problem that I see amidst beginner violin players quite frequently is not being able to play on one string or accidentally crossing strings in the middle of a piece. This problem is usually solved by paying special attention to the height of your elbow. I've talked about this in previous videos, but this is really important. So let's have a look at what I mean. The strings of your violin are resting upon a curved bridge. This is for a good reason, because if the bridge were flat, then you wouldn't be able to pick out one individual string. It would be more like a guitar where you aim to play all of the strings at once. So the curve of the bridge is what allows us to pick out an individual string. Now that said, because the bridge is curved, we must shift the angle of our bow every time we have to change strings. When we shift the angle of our bow, it's absolutely vital that we shift the angle of our arm with it. If we allow our bow to move over angles, tilting over to a new string, without letting our arm follow it, then we're going to end up looking like this. Our arm is going to drag our bow downwards and we're going to end up not hitting the string that we intended to. And to follow this point, if we don't make sure that our arm is staying at a consistent level when we want to stay on the same string, then that will also cause us to switch strings even when we don't mean to. So when we are aiming to play on only one string, for example, if we want to play a passage only on the D string, we want to ensure that our arm stays at D string height throughout that entire passage without moving upwards or downwards accidentally. This upwards or downwards movement of your arm during a passage is actually very easy to do accidentally. Because of the movement of your arm, you're constantly shifting the position of your arm when you're moving your elbow, and so it's easy to get some lateral movement in there too even when you don't want to. So make sure your elbow stays at one height. Now you can think about this by thinking about the position of your upper arm. Now the lower arm is what moves the bow. And because it's moving already, sometimes it's difficult to think about keeping a moving object in place. But your upper arm shouldn't move very much when you're moving the bow. And of course, if your upper arm is in place, your elbow doesn't move very much this way when you're playing the violin. So if your upper arm's in one place, your forearm is sure to be in a straight line from it. Alright? So think about the position of your upper arm with your bow on the strings. If my bow is on the G string, my upper arm should be higher, and it should be unwaveringly higher as I play a passage on the G string. It should stay at that same level. Meanwhile, the D string, I bring the upper arm down a little bit. A string, same story. E string, again. Alright, that position of your arm in relation to your bow is vital for making sure you don't accidentally cross strings. Now to practice this, I would recommend just playing all of your open strings. Don't complicate the exercise by trying to add in fingers quite yet. Just focus on the position of your bow and playing that one individual string. After you feel like you've really got a handle of this, going backwards and forward, that's when you can start to skip strings in between. Sometimes in music you have to move your bow from one string, skipping a string to the next string up. So now let's try doing that. So let's go from a G string to an A string without playing or hitting the D string in between. Give that a try, and then try it with the D string and the E string, for example, and then finally with the G string and the E string, a jump of 2 strings. If you have any further questions, please leave them in the comments below. I love to respond to them, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.